Uh, Hi, today we are discussing about mean stack technology. Mean stack technology, everybody knows, aware of it. It is a JavaScript based technology used for building dynamic web applications. So, you can see here what is means if you expand M for MongoDB, E for ExpressJS, A for AngularJS, N for Node.js. It allows developer to use single language JavaScript for entire development process from front end to back end and database. So why MinStack is very popular? For example, you want to build a web application using only front-end technology. You don't want to use any Java, or you don't want to use Python or .NET or whatever. You just want to use a JavaScript from end to end for building end-to-end applications. So, in that case, generally you can choose MinStack technologies. So here MongoDB is a NoSQL database. Everybody knows about it, right? We store the data in the form of JSON or document, JSON-like document, and then we fetch that document. So MongoDB, the underlying technology that was developed, MongoDB is JavaScript. It's completely JavaScript, and you store a data in the form of JSON document. You get the data, right? And the ExpressJS is nothing but a lightweight web application framework that runs on Node.js. Generally, ExpressJS we cannot use ExpressJS as a separate thing. It is a framework that runs on the Node.js. So when you install a Node.js, you install the ExpressJS as well. It simplifies the process of building server-side applications and APIs. So it is very important when you are building server-side applications and APIs. You need Express.js. You take a Java. We generally build API, application programming interface, REST APIs. We build services, REST services. Same way, we can actually build API using a JavaScript itself. We don't require any backend separate programming language here. So ExpressJS works as a lightweight framework that where we can actually build a server-side application and APIs, right, to get some data from the database, like that. So AngularJS is we all know the front-end framework. It follows the MVC pattern. I think I have already explained about the AngularJS one of my videos. You can check that out. So here you see here AngularJS is generally used for building front-end UI, web UI using a JavaScript. Okay, and the Node.js is a server-side environment. Basically, Node.js we can use as a server-side environment that will execute the Java code on server, and we can actually deploy our web application. The application that was developed using JavaScript, HTML or CSS, what only the front-end technologies that can be deployed on Node.js, right? So that way, if you look at all these uh, four kinds of softwares, their underlining technology is a JavaScript, right? It's a JavaScript. There is no Java. There is no you are not Spring framework. You are not using any other language. Rather, you are just using everything is a JavaScript, right? So why what is the use of using everything as JavaScript? Because sometimes people wants to build applications that runs on a browser, and their performance should be better, right, and faster. They don't want to utilize a different programming languages. Sometimes that may include a complexity. When you use the same language and you are running on the browser, the performance would be faster. So okay, that is the main advantage when you are using a same type of language, right, for building an application from front end to back end. You are going to build an application, develop an application using a JavaScript itself. So JavaScript is very faster language. When you run it in on the browser, it was very faster. Okay, you can actually uh, build a complete web application using a JavaScript, because Node.js and Express.js, they provide an API at the back end and act as a server. You can deploy that, and that would be very faster. And how it works, you see, the client side AngularJS is used in the browser to create the user interface, right? Using AngularJS, we can develop a web user interface. And server side application is Express.js is the framework that runs on the server. It handles the application logic and connecting front end to database. So Node.js basically works as backend server technology. So Express.js is the framework on top of Node.js, using which we can write an APIs that will receive request from AngularJS, and the process that request and fetch the data from database. You can think in that way. So database is here, MongoDB. MongoDB again is a database that was developed using a JavaScript. Again, I am telling here that MongoDB is also developed using a JavaScript. Hence, the complete end-to-end technology, the underlying technology was is a JavaScript. So your application would run very faster. It is very simple and easy to develop, and faster uh, to execute in the browser. So data is passed between these layers through HTTP and responses. JSON is used throughout the stack, eliminating need for data reformatting. So HTTP is a protocol basically whether we can use for passing request and response, and JSON uses to stack and eliminating the data formatting. So you can just see the simple um, example how how it works. You can see here min stack, simple examples. uh, I want to go a little bit deeper into Node.js to understand how it works as a server. You see, Node.js is a open source, and it is a cross-platform JavaScript runtime that allows developer to execute a JavaScript code outside of the web browser. So generally, any JavaScript that requires a web browser, right? But why we are calling Node.js is a server-side script, because it runs on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine, primarily used for building scalable server-side networking applications. You can actually run the Node.js as a server on command line, right? So that is the use. You don't need a web browser. It runs separately because it is built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. You see, it is basically server-side JavaScript. You can simply call it as a server-side JavaScript. It enables the use of JavaScript for backend development. Traditionally, domain and languages like Python, PHP. So it is a event-driven non-blocking architecture. Node.js utilizes event-driven non-blocking. So its model is it is asynchronous and event-driven non-blocking. Remember that scalability, NPG, cross-platform compatibility. So you can build for developing REST API, web services, real-time application, creating a microservice, creating a small independent service that can communicate with each other. So these are the use cases of the Node.js. Um, you can see here how Node.js is that will work in a synchronous way. So there are non-blocking architectures you can understand. I hope you are aware of what is non-blocking and all. And just remember that. Okay, so basically you need to install npm modules in your mission in order to make the server up and running so that you can deploy it there. And cross-platform compatibility, it can run on various operating systems including Windows, Mac OS, Linux. You can actually run this anywhere. So once you actually developed it, a mean stack um, you need to deploy the application on the Node.js, right? You can deploy it on the Node.js. You see here, mean stack projects include building web application like Task Manager, e-commerce platforms, real-time chat apps using MongoDB, Express, Angular, Node.js. So everything is everything is the JavaScript. Hence, it was very useful if you want to build an application using only front-end technology like JavaScript. Right, there are many JavaScripts are coming into the market. Angular, Express.js, Angular, Next.js, Vue.js. So many JS frameworks are coming. But remember, mean stack is a good opportunity. So when you want to build everything, if you are a JavaScript developer and if you are a front-end developer, you want to build an application end to end using only the front-end technology. You don't want to go for Java or Python or Node.js or any other technology. Sorry, Python and .NET, any other. So then this would be very useful. Hmm. Okay, so I hope you understand this, and thank you very much for listening to this. Thank you.